April 28th, 9:15 a.m. District Court, Defendant, Lobby, number 3.
I'm fine. I'm Apollo Justice. I'm fine.
Is Apollo okay? He's been muttering to himself all morning. He's been like that since yesterday. Guess the pressure of today's trial is getting to him. Poor Polly. He's really tearing himself up over all of this. Get it together, Apollo!
Yikes! Athena! When did you get here?
Try to relax a little bit, will you? You're getting yourself way too worked up.
Yeah, but I'm alright. I'm fine.
You know, I did a little digging on this Nahyota Sadmati guy. It's apparently not your run-of-the-mill prosecutor.
Oh yeah? What did you find out?
Well, they say he wields an incredible power to accurately read a trial's karma and its ultimate fate.
What is that supposed to mean?
I don't have all the details, but apparently he can foresee how the arguments will go and even lead his opposition. So the defense basically ends up going in whatever direction he has in his head.
Man, this isn't going to be a cakewalk if that's true.
Emma did say that she talked to him for us, though. Here's hoping that went well.
In any case, sounds like it's going to keep us on our toes.
That's why I know... Oh, that's why I know you're ready. Why I know I can leave Trucy in the office to you. I believe in you, Apollo.
Mr. Wright is putting his faith in me. I can't let him down now. I'm fine.
There he goes again. It's almost like he's chanting a prayer.
I'm fine. I'm apologizing, I'm fine!
If you say so, Apollo. Trial will start momentarily. Is the defense ready?
Yes! We're fine! Trucy's fate and the fate of the agency rest on this trial. This is it, Justice. If ever there was a time to shine, it's now.
Alright, here we go. April 28th, 9:30 a.m. District Court. Courtroom number 6.
Court is now in session for the trial of Trucy Wright. The defense is ready, Your Honor.
And the prosecution? Prosecutor Satmati?
1,000 pardons. It was rude of me to keep you waiting. I was praying for the victim.
Oh, praying. Yes, I see. You're a Kurinist monk, correct, prosecutor?
Yes, that is correct. I am but a lowly monk from the kingdom of Crane. I beg in advance for the forgiveness and kind patience of everyone here in this court. I am unfamiliar with the proceedings of this country, and may make many blunders.
He seems like such a gentle-mannered soul, doesn't he?
I wonder if Emma had a chance to talk with him about Trucy.
Now then, Prosecutor Satmati, your opening statement, if you would.
Certainly. In the name of the Holy Mother, I vow to guide the victim's soul to a land of eternal peace known as the Twilight Realm. Now, let the last rites of the victim begin. Nahyota Sadmati. He's really been making a name for himself, apparently, but that nickname, Last Rites Prosecutor, I wonder how that will come into play today. The incident took place in the middle of a spectacular magic show. The accused performed a magic trick in which she thrust a sword into a coffin. A coffin from which the body of the victim then spilled out, dead from a fatal stabbing. The victim's name was Monov Mystery, otherwise known as the Great Mr. Rose. His blood was found on the sword that was used during the magic trick.
Always, that was just an unfortunate accident.
It is only natural for one to assume as such, Your Honor. However, it was no mere accident, but rather a homicide. The prosecution's position is thus that this was a murder made to look like an accident.
I see. And you believe this crime was committed by the defendant?
After a thorough consideration of all possible scenarios, I unfortunately had no other choice but to conclude as much. So that's how it's going to be, huh? I guess Emma can convince him after all.
Very well. And now let us hear from the defense.
Naturally, we maintain that the defendant is innocent, Your Honor. If the defense wouldn't mind, could you please explain your reasoning? My reasoning? Well, I would have to say that my main reason is because I believe in the defendant. I see. So you find it difficult to come up with anything more concrete than that, do you? What a fine demonstration of the fact that you are indeed a lawyer of putrid mind. Putrid mind?
Prosecutor said Bonny?
Excuse me, but I don't...
If you don't mind me by asking, Prosecutor, what was that you were just chanting?
A sutra of the Holy Mother that guides those of tainted soul towards enlightenment. It is a Quranist incantation to awaken the foolish from their fruitless slumber. Fitting for a lawyer who indulges in such fancy as the innocence of the accused.
I see. So basically, you're asking the defense to get real?
Allow me these few words, defense. It is my duty as a monk to punish sinners and to guide victims' souls to the Twilight Realm. Should you show repentance and admit to the accused's guilt now, no harm will come to you. But should you interfere with my sacred last rites for the victim, then I shall cast you down into the pit of hell along with Trucy Wright. Oh, just wait a moment here. Putrid? Pit of hell? Is that any way to address someone in a court of law?
Prosecutor said Bonny, that may be the way you conduct trials in Korean, but I would appreciate it if you would refrain from such charged language here.
Your Honor, that was but a Quranist sermon for those who have strayed from the path. Harsh words are often necessary to admonish contemptible deviants who cannot see reason.
Oh, I see. I didn't realize.
I guess they really do hate defense attorneys in Korean, huh? Even still, that was way over the top as far as verbal abuse goes. And the trial's only just begun.
Well, defense, I suppose the way a prosecutor does things varies by country. Why don't we look at this as a cross-cultural exchange and try to be open-minded about it?
What?
Bailiff, please bring in the first witness.
Uh-oh. I thought she said goodbye to the snack goose.
Detective Sky, the courtroom is no place for gorging yourself.
What's wrong with having a little snack? Girl's gotta eat, right?
She, seems a little stressed out. Detective Sky, your testimony, please.
Yeah, about that. I just want to state for the record that I believe Trucy Wright is innocent.
I'm sorry?
Detective Sky, this path you seek to follow is misguided. Giving the wrongdoer false hope will only deepen her despair in the end.
But
Let it go and move on. Acts which go against your duty will earn you divine punishment from the Holy Mother.
Fine. I don't know about the divine part, but I get the punishment bit loud and clear.
I guess Emma got assigned tons of paperwork or something for sticking up for Trucy. She and Prosecutor Satmati don't seem to get along very well, do they? Shall we continue? The prosecution contends that the accused had a clear motive. The evidence, if you would, Detective Sky.
Alright, please take a look at this poster. It's a Troop Gramarye poster from 13 years ago. Is it just me or is it a little different from the one in Miss Wright's dressing room? This is a revised version of that poster. This one says cancelled under Mr. Roos. That's right, Mr. Roos left the troop after the first version of the poster was printed. Take a look at Mr. Roos's right forearm near his elbow. See the big scar there? He apparently got that when he made a mistake while practicing a magic trick. Ouch, that's quite a scar. Because of the accident, Magnifi Gramarye concluded Mr. Roos was too unskilled. Just before the show was to open, Magnifi announced Mr. Roos wouldn't be appearing. But in defiance of Magnifi's decision, Mr. Roos decided to go on stage anyway. This, in turn, caused Magnifi to oust Mr. Roos from the troupe on the spot.
He kicked Mr. Roos out? That seems rather extreme. Did he really have to go that far?
When it came to magic, Troop Gramarye was so passionate, or should I say extreme, about it, that it caused problems for them from time to time.
Yes, they even caused his court a mountain of trouble with their extreme antics.
And now the troop's successor has committed a murder. It seems the troop's rare talent was inherited by the right person after all. A putrid talent for criminality.
You sound rather extreme yourself, prosecutor.
Criminals with impure souls do not deserve sympathy, Your Honor.
Ahem, as I was saying, after his expulsion, Mr. Roos apparently went on to hold a grudge against the troop.
He would tell those close to him, I will get my revenge on Troop Gramarye someday.
Revenge? That certainly sounds antagonistic.
And then his chance for revenge finally came. If you would be so kind, Detective Sky.
I guess I don't have a choice, do I? What does he got up his sleeve? The victim planned to get his revenge on Troop Gramarye during Trucy's magic show. Mr. Roos was going to first steal the Gramarye notebook from the defendant. He then intended to reveal the secrets behind their magic tricks during the show. That was the victim's plan for revenge, and while he did, in fact, steal the notebook, the defendant murdered him before he had a chance to reveal the secrets.
By the time the accused had discovered the notebook's theft, it was too late. Their only option was to kill Mr. Roos and make it look like an accident.
Objection!
That's nothing but conjecture. The victim's assistant, Bonny gave the police a statement. She testified that just before the start of the show, Mr. Roos said, "I'm going to reveal all of Troop Gramarye's secrets on stage today." What?
Well, that isn't exactly a great starting point for a rebuttal, is it?
You're telling me? Allow me to give you one piece of advice, defense. Oh, and what's that? Let it go and move on.
Excuse me!
Helping a sinner would only sully your own soul. One possessed of an unclean soul will burn in the flames of hell, and then be ever burdened with that sin in their next life.
But I don't believe in that sort of thing.
Besides, I have no intention of giving up. Oh, Holy Mother, grant me the strength to deal with this putrid lawyer. All actions have consequences, and yours will surely earn you the honor of being a mere stink bug at best in your next life.
Stink bug?
Now then, Mr. Justice, your cross-examination, please.
Alright. I'll be back. Alright, our first cross-examination for this case. Here we go. The victim planned to get his revenge on Troop Gramarye during Trucy's magic show.
Hold it!
Revenge after all this time? It's been 13 years already. Why now?
I know, right? I thought that was pretty sketchy myself. I mean, wouldn't he have done it a long time ago if he was gonna do it? After all...
Detective Sky, self-indulgent nappers such as those will earn you divine punishment, in the form of a salary evaluation.
Eep!
Wait, that's what divine punishment means? Let the detective have her snack. This humble servant of the Holy Mother should explain. Over a decade ago, Troop Gramarye was at the height of their popularity. But then their reputation declined, and they had all but faded from public memory. Until recently, that is, when Trucy Wright sought to recapture their former glory.
The defendant? At such a young age too? How impressive!
Yes, the accused's skill at magic is undeniably impressive. If she hadn't fallen onto the path of sin, she would have had a bright future ahead of her.
It's always sad to see such promising young potential go to waste. Now then, Detective Sky, how does Mr. Roos plan to get his revenge? And please put down the snack goose before you continue with your testimony.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Roos was going to first steal the Gramarye notebook from the defendant.
What evidence do you have that Mr. Roos actually stole the notebook?
Well, you see,
Whenever you're ready, Detective. Fret not, Detective Sky. You have nothing to repent for. You should be proud of the fine forensic discovery that you made. Forensic discovery? What did she discover specifically? Detective Sky identified a certain set of fingerprints on the notebook. Upon further inspection, she determined that they belonged to Mr. Roos. What? The detective found the fingerprints entirely of her own volition. For that, I must say, well done, Detective Sky. Get a little too addicted to using your precious white powder, did you, Emma? Now, Detective Sky, I would ask you to explain exactly how Mr. Roos intended to use the notebook to exact his revenge.
alright. Well, first, he stole the notebook. He then intended to reveal the secrets behind their magic tricks during the show.
I'm going to reveal all of Troop Gramarye's secrets on stage today. That's what Mr. Roos himself said, right?
Right, but he didn't exactly specify which Gramarye secrets he was talking about.
But the prosecution thinks he was referring to the secrets behind Troop Gramarye's magic. Yes, that is the prosecution's assertion. When the accused realized that Mr. Roos was to reveal her family's most closely guarded secrets, she naturally panicked. So basically, Trucy's notebook was hiding Mr. Roos's things because he had stolen it himself?
I see. Truly, a motive that only a magician could have.
Yeah, that's what the prosecution believes anyway. That was the victim's plan for revenge, and while he did in fact steal the notebook...
Do you really believe what you're saying, Detective Sky? Do you really think Miss Wright killed Mr. Roos to stop him from getting his revenge?
Of course I don't think that. The Trucy we know would never...
Keep your private considerations separate from your public duty. I warned you about this very thing before the trial began, did I not, Detective Sky?
Yes, you did.
Please recite my exact words to you.
Emma Sky, you are a detective first and foremost, not the accused's friend. Remember your duty and fulfill it faithfully.
Excellent. So you do remember what I said to you. Your devotion to your work will be rewarded, for the Holy Mother sees all.
This Holy Mother is no scientific concept I've ever heard of.
They still really don't get along, do they? Well, science and religion go together about as oil and water.
As I was saying, the defendant murdered him before he had a chance to reveal the secrets.
I'm sorry, bud. What exactly is the basis for claiming it was murder?
Beats me.
What? The basis beats me? I'll have to ask Prosecutor Sadmati over there, because he hasn't told me his reasoning either.
Detective Sky, your feeding of information to the defense has not gone unnoticed by my eyes. Oh! The bad karma of acts which go against your duty will impinge upon you in your next life. But, even before that, it may impinge upon your job in the form of a transfer.
Ugh! Please don't get me kicked out of the forensics unit, anything but that!
Poor Emma. She's really been risking everything for us.
Well, Prosecutor Sadmati, what are your grounds for claiming homicide?
It was the luminous tape in the Understage passage. I realized that it had been moved. Moved so that Mr. Roos would climb up into the downstage coffin by mistake.
What?
Mr. Roos, who was waiting in the Understage passage, was supposed to have used the upstage ladder shown here on the left. He was to climb up into the coffin that had been set up in the backstage area, after being turned into a stuffed dragon during Act 1. Mr. Roos was supposed to come back to life and emerge from that coffin, but the luminous tape had been moved to mark the downstage ladder. So the victim climbed up into the coffin on the stage itself by mistake. The very same coffin the accused thrust her sword into. And you have proved that it was my client who moved the tape? But of course, Detective Sky.
Huh? Oh, that's right. I identified the defendant's fingerprints on the luminous tape.
You what? You actually had proof? Well, defense, are you finally ready to let it all go and move on?
Absolutely not.
Detective, please add the information about the prints on the tape to your testimony.
The defendant's prints were on the tape. I guess she must have moved it during the show.
Hold it!
What made you think to check the luminous tape for prints?
Well,
I bet it was detective's intuition.
I dusted not just the tape, but just about everywhere for fingerprints.
Oh?
I dusted pretty much every single surface in the theater. I mean, it was so nice to be able to dust for prints without anybody getting mad at me.
It's great that you're enthusiastic, Emma, but there is such a thing as too enthusiastic. The tape was moved to guide Mr. Roos into the coffin that was downstage. If that's true, it does sound like a murder rather than an accident. It certainly doesn't help that Trucy's prints are on the tape. Ooh. I wish I knew what sound would even be appropriate to make in this situation.
Alright. I feel like this is too easy, but sure. Let's give it a shot.
Objection!
Oh. Isn't the witness's statement inconsistent with this piece of evidence? No, it is not.
No, it is not.
Let it go and move on. Alright. I'll let it go and move on.
But not before you take this penalty with you.
I'll move on, but there's no way I'm gonna let it go with Trucy's life at stake.
Okay. The lift?
Objection!
The fuck? what else do we have? Notebook. Yeah, I'm not seeing what they want me to see. The footage? I must be really out of it today. Paulo, there was one statement that I thought was a little strange. Oh, am I witnessing the power of analytical psychology at work? Nope, feminine intuition. Let me show you which statement I'm talking about. Okay, now to try comparing the evidence with the statement that caught her eye. Okay, they're gonna give us a hint. Oh, thanks. It's this one? Great. Yeah, I know it's this one. Athena, thanks for your help. What do I present against it, though? Defendant's prints were on the tape. I guess she must have moved it during the show. Okay. So, what? This was a victim in Bonny. Set of unknown fingerprints when found at the top. Do we present the fingerprint results to show that there's still fingerprints that have yet to be accounted for?
Objection!
Oh. Whatever. Fuck off. I'm sorry, Detective Sky, but there's a flaw in your testimony. Oh, really? The prosecution is claiming that Miss Wright moved the Understage tape during the show in order to guide the victim into the coffin downstage. But it doesn't make sense that she would leave prints on the tape at that time.
It doesn't?
Please consider the fingerprinting results for the main coffin, which shows that not one of my client's fingerprints were found on or in it. That's true. We didn't find any of her prints on that coffin. I think you've realized what the flaw in your testimony is. Claiming Miss Wright left prints on the tape during the show is inconsistent with the facts. Because she was wearing gloves during the show. Oh! She must have left the prints sometime before the show started. In other words, her prints do not prove she moved the tape to mislead the victim. The prosecution's investigation was insufficient. Oh my! But on a personal level, I'm very happy about it.
Well, Prosecutor Bonny, if the defense's argument is true, then you have no evidence that the defendant moved the tape to deceive the victim.
I see. Apparently, the defense is more intelligent than I had thought. More than a stink bug, at any rate. Come on, you can bump me up to at least a stag beetle now, can't you? Would that really be any better? Of course, way better. Stag beetles are cool with those huge mandibles of theirs. Huh? If the defense wishes to be promoted to a stag beetle, then answer me this question. Alright, shoot! Even with no evidence that the accused moved the victim to misguide the victim. What? Say that again? Even with no evidence that the accused moved the tape to misguide the victim still climbed the ladder using the tape as a guide. And entered the coffin on the stage. The accused then thrust her sword into said coffin with the victim in it.
So, what he's saying is, the fact remains that the victim was stabbed to death, right?
Precisely. However, this does drastically change one aspect of this case. If the accused did not lead the victim to the coffin on purpose, then it means the victim's death could have been accidental. If it was indeed an accident, the defense can argue that it was involuntary manslaughter.
I see. If it was an involuntary manslaughter, they could plead extenuating circumstances, and the severity of the crime could be mitigated.
Defense, if you believe the accused did not murder the victim,
Then do you argue that it was an accident? This is it, the all-important question. The defense argues that Mr. Roos's death was... No, he was definitely murdered, just not by Trucy. The defense maintains that the defendant is entirely innocent. We believe that it wasn't an accident, but murder. And what's more, we believe it was committed by a third party.
A third party? As in the true culprit is someone else?
That is quite a brazen claim to make, and one wholly without grounds. Your voice is as loud as your suit, and your mind echoes just as loudly in emptiness. Surely you were but a loud red pepper in your previous life. I've been demoted to a vegetable?
Wow, I didn't know a person could be reincarnated as a non-sentient plant.
In any case, I do have grounds to make this claim. Let us hear this reasoning of yours, then. Alright, but before I give it, there is one question that we need to address. If the victim was killed by some third party, then the sword the defendant thrust into the coffin wasn't the cause of death. If that's the case, then how do we wind up with a dead body inside the coffin?
A very good question. Now let's hear your opinion, Mr. Justice. How did the victim's body wind up inside the coffin?
What if the victim was killed under the stage before being put into the coffin? In other words, what if the victim was already dead in the coffin from the get-go?
Oh, I see. In that case, the defendant's sword wouldn't have been the cause of death. How do you respond, Prosecutor Sadmati?
That is the third time.
The third time of what?
Yeah! What the heck is this?
サトライマオマノモサマシで足し抜けたれガセよそろか
My head! What do you think you're doing? Even the merciful Holy Mother loses patience if she is struck 3 times. Since you never learn, you needed to be punished. Why don't you let me worry about what I need and don't need? It is what you deserve for interfering with my sacred last rites for the victim. You are a brainless lawyer chasing phantoms. You know nothing. Let this humble servant of the Holy Mother give you an edifying sermon.
A sermon?
No! There is a passage in the sacred scriptures of Koreanism. A cornered frog will swallow even a snake.
Huh?
A cornered lawyer is unexpectedly struck back hard against the prosecution. Did I get it right?
No, for I am not done with my sermon. And yet the frog still dies, its belly bitten and torn from within. Just great. And in this case, you are that frog, Defense. What exactly is your point, anyway? Let us assume for a moment that the victim was killed under the stage. Who then had the opportunity to do so during the show? Let's see. The people in the show were Bonny, the victim, Mr. Ross, Mr. Roos, and Trucy Wright. Bonny was on stage throughout the show, the entire show, as easily confirmed by the footage from the show. Which leaves us with only one suspect, Trucy Wright. Okay. Now do you see? The accused killed Mr. Roos as he waited on standby in the Understage passage, and then placed his dead body in the coffin above, thus making the murder look like an accident. No! Oh, great and merciful Holy Mother, thus another putrid mind has been guided toward enlightenment. I can't believe I swallowed this trick question hole!
sorry, but I have to raise an objection here. Athena, what do you... There's something I want to point out, Apollo. And who might you be? You strike me as a mere child in countenance. I may be young, but I have an attorney's badge just the same. And you would contribute to this discussion in that capacity? I most certainly would. You just argued that the defendant killed the victim under the stage, but let me remind you that Miss Wright is a girl. Clearly. Surely he didn't raise an objection simply to point out such an obvious fact. Your Honor, please send for this little child's guardian to come take her home. But I'm not done with my sermon. You don't need to talk like Prosecutor Sadbody, you know. Listen, if the victim is killed in the Understage passage, then his body would then have to be hauled up to the stage, right? However, Miss Wright is a young girl, and a pretty petite one at that. She couldn't possibly have hefted that large body up and put it in the coffin.
That's true. It does seem like it would be a rather difficult task for the defendant. I don't think even I could do it.
What do you think of that, Prosecutor? Who is the child now? In my religion, the priestesses of Crainism are revered as the pillars of our beliefs, so I naturally hold nothing but deep respect for women. I also think highly of the female perspective. Says the man who called this fair maiden a little child. Who's a fair maiden? I agree that your point is worth discussing, defense. How indeed was the dead body raised up into the coffin? By the accused, Trucy Wright, that is. You're committed to pointing the finger at her no matter what, eh? Then you explain how that'd even be possible. But of course... there was a way for even a small creature like her to raise the victim's body up. Wait. You really can't explain it? I foresaw that arguments would come to this, so I have prepared a witness.
Well, I admire your readiness, Prosecutor.
It is really not that difficult when one can read the ultimate outcome of any trial. You couldn't have really predicted that things would turn out like this, could he? It's pretty hard to believe. Excuse me, but may I step down now?
Yes, I suppose you may.
One moment, Detective Sky. I'm sorry for, the way I handled all of this. You did a fine job, Detective. Your testimony was invaluable. It was? Yes. You served well as a detective, and did not allow your personal feelings to interfere. You overcame the conflicted emotions you felt and performed your duty admirably. You will be rewarded for your fine work. Thank you. I hope we can work together again in the future. Emma seems bewildered by the unexpected praise. I guess he's a pretty nice person like they say, as long as you're not up against him.
Now then, let us call the next witness.
Witness, please state your name and occupation. Alright, I'll be back. Alright, let's continue. Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the court. It's very nice to meet all of you. I'm a lagomorphing illusionist from Land of Fairy Tales, Bonny Defendant. Can't wait to do some magic tricks for all of you. Please, witness, there is a time and a place for all things, including magic. Oh, but it would be okay if I do a little magic, right? Come on, please. Look, everybody's waiting. Now is my chance to shine. That is your second time. My second time doing what? There will be no further warnings. You should know that from our preparatory meeting. Correct? Yep.
Still exempted from His Holiness's rosary of suffering. May we have your testimony, witness, once you have recovered from your disappointment?
Well, as a huge fan of Trucy's, I don't really want to testify against her. But I guess I have to, don't I?
As a huge fan of Trucy's, huh?
I hate her! I love her! I can't stand Trucy Wright. Just because she's a little good at magic, she thinks she's all that. So this is exactly what that slimming brat deserves.
Sure, you're a real fan, alright. Of destroying Trucy, you mean?
Yeah, so this is definitely going to be nothing but lies. I really can't believe that Trucy killed Mr. Roos. I guess it's possible for a small girl to lift a dead body up if she uses a stage lift. Is it possible? Could Trucy really have... If Trucy did use a stage lift, I think she must have used stage lift too. I was on stage for the entire show, by the way. Uh-huh.
You were on stage the whole time. And you're sure about that? There is no question. The entire audience could testify to that fact. What's more, she is shown clearly in the TV show footage as well.
I couldn't possibly have killed Mr. Roos. Not little old me.
Therefore, the only person who could have killed the victim on the stage is the accused. Furthermore, by using a stage lift, even a petite young lady could have raised the body up to the stage without difficulty. You've got to be kidding me.
Very well. The defense may now cross-examine the witness.
I really can't believe that Trucy killed Mr. Roos.
You said you are a huge fan of Trucy's, isn't that right?
Oh yeah, I even became a magician because I want to be just like her. First time I saw her, she was performing at the Wonder Bar. She was only a junior high back then, but she got up on stage with tons of confidence. And then she proceeded to win my heart with her astonishing tricks and winning smile.
She certainly sounds like she means all of that. So, finally being able to perform with her must have been quite a treat for you, right?
Oh yeah, after all, it was my chance to have her see me. Not just as a fan, but as a fellow magician. But then that horrible accident happened.
It was not an accident, it was murder. Witness, please explain if you would. How a small young woman such as Trucy Wright could have raised the body.
Oh, I guess it's possible for a small girl to lift a dead body up if she uses sage lift.
What makes you think it would be possible? It's not like you tried it out yourself, right?
Well,
actually, we did try it out for ourselves. You did? Detective Sky, if you would.
oh, so that's why you made me do that.
Detective Sky, what did he have you do?
The prosecutor asked me to try raising one of the male officers with the stage lift, without a single word of explanation as to why he was making me do it.
You're kidding!
It's as if he really can foresee all of our counter-arguments.
Do not underestimate this humble servant of the Holy Mother.
More like haughty.
Oh, I guess that means Trucy could have lifted a dead body up. Does that mean... Is it possible? Could Trucy really have...
Is what possible? Could Trucy really have what, Mr. Pham? Please finish your sentence!
Hey, well, I...
Don't try to beat around the bush. Come right out and say it. Why not tell this court what you really believe?
What I really believe? Of course I don't believe Trucy could ever commit murder. Such an amazing and wonderful magician would never do such a thing. But, taking all the facts into account, what else can I think?
I know of at least 3 other unflattering things you really think about Trucy. How can you attack this girl when she is obviously speaking with reserve?
There is such a thing as reading between the lines, Mr. Justice. It's sad how the youth of today lack the ability to do such a thing. Such a basic thing.
Looking at me like that isn't gonna help me stick my foot in my mouth less, Your Honor. Witness, please describe what the accused might have used to lift the dead body. Alright. If Trucy did use a sage lift, I think she must have used sage lift too. Sage lift number 2. You mean the sage lift shown here on the left? That's right, with the sage lift, I think even a small girl could easily lift a dead body up to the stage. And so that makes her the murderer, in your opinion? Of course not, I believe in Trucy. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of hers.
Oh, brother, how long is she gonna keep this act up?
Defense, what position was sage lift number 2 in after the show? Let's see. If I recall, it was in the fully raised position. Ah! And the reason why it was fully raised is because the accused used it to lift the victim's body. Wouldn't you agree? Feel free to slightly mull it over while you roast over the flames of hell. You evil red pepper!
So now I'm also evil?
I was on stage for the entire show, by the way. You didn't have a single spare moment to slip down to the Understage passage? Eh?
Don't tell me you suspect me now.
I'm just trying to do my job by fully examining your alibi. Depending on how solid it is, I might have to suspect you, yes.
You gotta be kidding me.
Don't spit on my head and tell me it's raining, lawyer boy. I'm right here in the footage. Or are you too much of an idiot to say?
Mr. Van, are you feeling alright? You seem slightly different.
Oh, oops. Where did that come from, right? Oh my, I seemed to have snapped there for a second, didn't I? T.E. You did just snap. You broke character just now. In any case, I was on stage the whole time, performing magic. I mean, you saw me in the footage, right? My dazzling and flawless performance. Flawless? That's odd, considering what you told me. You said that you'd made a mistake with where you positioned Mr. Hat.
Mr. Van, to what is the defense referring?
Well, I made a little mistake on stage. I was in charge of operating Mr. Hat, you see. According to the script, I was supposed to place him to the left of the coffin. But I flubbed it up and made him stand to the right of the coffin instead. And because of that mistake, Trucy had to move the stage lifts around. I feel really bad about messing Trucy up like that with my goof. T.E. Darn it, I don't see any inconsistencies in her testimony. Now do you know who the real killer is? Come on, Gramps, don't just sit there and down your ruling, pronto. Do it quick before you keel over up there.
Oh, I beg your pardon?
Oops. Oh, what's gone into me? I'm so sorry.
I give her another 5 minutes before she tears off that mask.
Well, defense, are you ready to let it all go now? Of course not. I'll never give up. I see. I suppose this too is fate. The sacred scriptures of Kuranism describe a variety of hells for the damned. For someone like you, who struggles ceaselessly against his fate, Papul Buljig seems most appropriate. What? Oh, wait, that's Koreanese.
What sort of terrible place is Papul Buljig?
A place where the more one struggles, the further one falls into the abyss. At the bottom of the abyss, a ferocious beast awaits. Think of it as something akin to an antlion sandpit trap.
Oh, there's one of those in my backyard.
Wow, Kurin's hell is closer to home than I thought.
Now then, It would appear that the witness's testimony supports the prosecution's claims that the defendant is the only one who could have killed the victim Understage.
Gurk, how are we supposed to get out of this jam?
Hey, Apollo, if you can't find any contradictions, maybe it's time to use analytical psychology.
You mean...
I heard some discord in Bonny's voice while she was testifying. See? Widget is picking up on the noise in her heart, too.
That's right. Athena can hear things others can't with her super-sensitive hearing. She can hear the emotions people suppress as a kind of noise or discord in their voices. Alright, Athena, let's give it a try.
You got it.
Hold it!
Your Honor? I'm afraid that our witness, Mr. Pham, is suffering under terrible traumatic stress due to this horrible incident.
Cheers?
Yes, what with that terrible death on stage, and her beloved Trucy getting arrested, she's under awful strain and shock. In fact, I don't know how much more she can take before she is unfit to testify.
What? Oh, I've heard of that. What is it called? Postal stress disorder, right? It's where a person becomes uncontrollably angry, I think. I read about it somewhere.
That's going postal, Your Honor. This is PTSD.
Oh my. So that's why the witness acts so hostile at times, as if she were a different person.
Yes, and I think her condition is clouding her memory of the incident. Therefore, I suggest a short therapy session for the witness.
Hey? Therapy? You don't know the first thing about a magician's mental strength. I've risked my life jumping through rings of fire and having my body sawn off. Oopsie. Boy, I have to watch my temper, don't I? T.E.
Miss Sykes, please do whatever you can to help this unfortunate young lady.
And what exactly is this child planning to do, Mr. Justice? With her super-sensitive hearing, Miss Sykes can hear a witness's true emotions. Simply from tone and inflection, she can tell exactly what a person is feeling.
I can even pick out feelings that a witness is trying to suppress or hide. Widget projects the emotions I hear into the mood matrix, where I can analyze them. It sounds like some sort of spurious devilry. Though I find it hard to believe, I must ask, how do emotions constitute evidence?
Well, I won't say that emotions can be taken as evidence per se. I have seen how instrumental Miss Sykes' work has been in cracking a case. Therefore, I wholly support giving it a try.
I see. If you are in favor of it, Your Honor, then I have no objections. Even this mere monk can see that something disturbs the witness.
I'll disturb you!
Oh, thank you for understanding, Prosecutor Sadmati. Apollo, you remember how to conduct a therapy session, right?
You want me to lead the session?
Of course. You're the lead on this case, after all.
Fair enough, but do I need a refresher? I think I still remember from the last time, so let's get right into it.
Okie dokie. You ready, Widget?
Let's do this.
Here we go. Oh, I guess Trucy is the one who killed Mr. Roos. Even she could move their body with that lift. I was on stage at the time. But that terrible mistake. My stupid flub caused Trucy so much trouble. I feel so bad about it.
Got it!
I have to say, Mr. Pham, you certainly are a strange one. Even though you said I feel so bad about it, it seems you're feeling happy about it. I think I can guess why you're feeling happy. It must be because... I think you were happy because you messed the defendant up. I'm right, aren't I? You gotta be kidding me. Why would I be happy? I messed Trucy up. I'm a big fan of hers. Because we saw you. I hate her. I love her. I can't stand that Trucy Wright. Just because she's a little good at magic, she thinks she's all that. So this is exactly what that sniveling brat deserves.
We saw how you said you hated Trucy Wright, how you were glad she was in trouble, and even how it was what she deserved. It looks like I hit the bunny on the head, so to speak. Apollo, the noise level dropped. Now if you could get it down to 0%. Well, Mr. Pham, are you ready to confess how you really feel?
What? What do you mean? I'm Bonny, the sweet, cute little bunny.
I'm a rookie magician working out to be just like my idol, Trucy.
That's the character I'm supposed to be.
Keep that up, Mr. Pham, and you're going to have a mental breakdown. Just let yourself be who you really are. Who I really am? The two sides of you are fighting each other and doing you psychic harm. I can hear them. Two distinct voices battling inside you.
Shut your pie, hole, you know-nothing, know-it-all.
I mean, you mustn't say things like that or I might get flustered.
Mr. Pham, how long do you insist on maintaining this wolf in sheep's clothing act? We can't end this therapy session until you get real with us. Set the wild beast inside you free. Don't make me laugh. You don't know a damn thing about me. You want to see who I really am? Fine. Take a good look. What in the world? Sheep's clothing? You've got it all wrong. It's a rabbit suit I've got on. And I'm not a wolf. I'm a blood-sucking vampire. A bat with fangs and wings. Kee. Eek.
I think we just opened Pandora's box.
Kee. I'm finally done with that goody two-shoes cottontail act. I'll feel free as a bat. Kee.
Defense, your therapy session has taken a turn for the worse from the looks of it.
There's a really good explanation for this. Isn't there, Miss Sykes? Methinks I created a monster. We blow it.
Hey you, lobster boy! Who, me? You think I'm glad Trucy is in trouble? That I think she's getting her just desserts? Well, guess what? You're right! Kee!
Does this mean you admit to wishing the defendant harm?
Well, bad is out of the bag now. That mistake of mine was a work of art. Thanks to my goof, poor little Trucy had to do all that outside physical labor.
When you say hard physical labor, what are you referring to?
Because of Mr. Rat's new position, Trucy had to move both of those huge sage lifts.
They must have been so heavy.
What a riot!
That's strange. Athena, could you please add that last statement to Bonny's testimony? Alright, I'll update the mood matrix with the new info. Hey, Apollo, now there's a new inconsistency in the testimony. Yeah, she finally slipped up. So, what do I need to do now? Well, from this point onward, you just do what you do best. Find the contradiction in the testimony and present evidence to refute it. Alright, I've got you now, Bonny DeFam.
I guess Trucy is the one who killed Mr. DeRose. Even she could move their body with that lift. I was on stage at the time, but that terrible mistake. You know what? Serves her right. Thanks to that, she ended up having to move the stage lifts.
I don't... Oh! Okay, yeah. There you go.
Objection!
That doesn't make sense.
What? So you think I'm crazy now?
No. That's not the point I was trying to make.
But I don't hear you denying it.
Mr. Pham, allow me to repeat your statement. Thanks to that, she ended up having to move the stage lift.
Yeah, that's right. No, I still say that's just what she does.
But how did you know? How did you know Miss Wright moved the stage lift?
Eh?
According to her own statement, she didn't tell anyone that she had done so.
What?
So how could you possibly have known what she had done unless you saw her? You saw Miss Wright moving the lifts in the understage passage, didn't you?
Gah!
You did it, Apollo. Noise levels are at 0%.
What, Mr. Justice? Would that mean...
Yes, Your Honor. Miss Pham herself was under the stage where the victim was killed. And I hardly need to tell the court what that means. You are one artful liar, Mr. Pham, and one spectacular suspect.
Why, you shiny red lobster boy. You're saying I killed Mr. Roos?
I'm saying that it's a possibility. What's more, I say you had a solid motive to frame my client for the murder as well.
My apologies for raining on the defense's merry reveille. But you seem to have forgotten one very important point.
Oh, really?
The TV footage. As you can clearly see, Mr. Pham was on the stage the whole time. The entire audience can bear witness to that fact, including you.
Oh, yeah. You have just taken a long and senseless journey, only to return to the starting line. The witness could not have been in the understage passage, which means the only one left who could have killed the victim is the accused.
Guess the party's over.
But Mr. Pham knew something she couldn't have known unless she was under the stage. How do you explain that, Prosecutor Sanmati?
It's quite simple. The accused must have told Mr. Pham about it, but then forgot. Open those useless eyes, viewers, to take a good look at the footage.
If Mr. Pham really was in this understage passage, it would mean she was on stage and understage at the same time. You mean she was in two places at once? That does seem to be the only explanation that makes any sense.
Maybe an explanation, but I'm not sure about the make sense part.
We'll just have to make it sense. We'll just have to make it make sense. Your Honor, the witness was both on stage and understage at the same time. That is the defense's assertion.
I've heard some illogical things come out of you before, but this is absurd.
I'm sure you'll change your tune once you hear my reasoning, Your Honor.
My gut tells me you're bluffing, but I'll bite. Very well, Mr. Justice. How do you explain how the witness was in two places at once?
Twins. Yeah, sure, twins.
There were 2 Bonnies, Your Honor. If that were the case, it would all make sense, wouldn't it?
There were...
2 of them. I suspected you had a few screws loose, but now I see some are missing altogether. Is there a toolkit in this courtroom, Your Honor? I suppose 3 screws to the head should righten this putrid brain.
Very well. Bailiff, could you...
No, wait! Please listen to my argument!
Very well. I suppose it wouldn't hurt to at least give it a listen.
As was argued earlier, Miss Defendant was shown in the footage the whole time. But at the same time, she was also watching Mr. Wright in the Understage passage. The only possible explanation is that there are 2 bodies.
That almost sounds like it makes sense. What do you think, Prosecutor Bonny?
This humble servant of the Holy Mother is of the opinion that we should lose no time in replacing the defense's many lost screws. But Apollo, it goes against reality itself to say that one person is actually 2. We don't have to be bound by reality. After all, we're talking about magic here. So, if the Bonny Defam in the footage is the real Bonny, then the Bonny here on the witness stand, the one who must have been Understage, this Bonny Defam is our second Bonny. Gee! She is? Say we call the one in front of us Bonny 2. I believe I have just the piece of evidence to prove that a Miss Bonny 2 exists.
Oh, then please submit your evidence, Mr. Justice. What proves the existence of a body too?
I still don't know if this is the right path or I'm being led on a wild goose chase, but we'll find out in just a second. I'll be right back. Alright then, well, now we have to, on the spot, try to prove that there were 2 Bonnies. The unknown fingerprints, maybe? Sure. It's worth a shot.
What's this?
During our investigation, we found a set of unknown prints on the coffin on the stage. These prints were most likely left during the course of the show, but they didn't match the prints of any of the people involved in this case.
Unknown third party's fingerprints.
I was not told of this. Emma must have kept it from him. So, the question is, who could these prints possibly belong to? Mr. Pham, or should I say, Bonny 2, these are your fingerprints, aren't they? Enough of this foolishness. One person could not possibly be 2. Those fingerprints could have been left not only during the show, but at any time. It's not like you to lose your cool like that, Prosecutor Sadmati. And I'm sure you know that exactly when the fingerprints were made is not the main issue.
What do you mean by that, Mr. Justice?
The issue is, who do these unknown prints belong to? They're certainly not Bonny Defam's. But what if they belong to the person standing right in front of us?
Oh, you mean Bonny 2 is the second Bonny? Is that what you're implying?
It's preposterous to suggest that those prints belong to the witness. I say they must belong to some other unknown individual. Prosecutor Sadmati, can you really look at her and still say that?
What are you looking at? Take a picture, it'll last longer. How could this be?
If we check our prints, I'm sure they'll match the unknown set. Well, Bonny, the prints that don't belong to the real you belong to you, don't they, Bonny 2?
Kill!
Witness, is what the defense has said true?
Hey. Fine, I'll admit it. The fingerprints are mine.
Does that mean you aren't Bonny Defendant?
What? Ridiculous.
Are there really two bodies?
No, there's only one, Bonny. That's because I'm Betty. Betty Defendant. What? Ladies and gentlemen of the court, it's time for a wondrous magic show. Gasp in amazement as this Lagomorphin illusionist performs her teleportation magic. Yeah. Watch closely. It's showtime.
What an amazing trick! The windows are suddenly split into people!
It's not a trick. No gimmick to it either.
We're simply twins.
What? Twins? So that's how the teleportation trick works? Ever since our debut, I've had to hide or pretend I'm Bonny.
Oh, cute and sweet and goody.
I can't tell you how stressful it's been.
I don't have to.
To hide anymore.
That's right. Our days of sneaking around are finally over.
The cover is blown, but they actually seem pretty happy about it.
So which one of you is the nice Bonny Defendant we met in the dressing room? That would be me. And the sharp-tongued Bonny we saw with the ratings Raja Understage was...
Who are you calling sharp-tongued? It's all starting to make sense now.
Yep.
So, Mr. Justice, this changes the facts of the case rather dramatically, doesn't it?
So it does. During the show, it was Bonny who was on stage the whole time. So Bonny couldn't have committed the crime. But Betty, on the other hand, who was understage, did have the opportunity.
Well, so now we have two suspects.
Wait just a minute there, Lucy boy. I didn't do it.
That's right. Betty might have a foul mouth, but she'd never kill anybody.
Right, who's got a foul mouth here?
Oh,
Well, speak up, eh? Please save your sibling squabbling for later.
Betty, you must have been in the understage passage during the show. Otherwise, you wouldn't have known about the stage lifts being moved. So what exactly were you doing down there?
Fine, I'll testify. Anything to get you off me back.
Prosecutor says Bonny Defendant is ready to testify. What do you say?
Betty, you lied to this humble servant of the Holy Mother.
Aye, what else could I do? I couldn't blow our cover and ruin our magic, eh? Hehehe. Besides, am I gonna go to your twilight hell or whatever for being a liar?
You will indeed. You will indeed. However, it will be after your death. Rather,
I shall give you a taste of your punishment on this mortal coil, in interrogation hell.
Now then, Betty Defendant, please explain to this court what exactly you were doing under the stage.
Incredible. It's true, I had business in the Understage passage because of the upcoming trick.
It was the fire trick, right? The one Mr. DeRoos was supposed to do?
That's right. It's a very dangerous trick, so I had to make sure we were prepared for it.
It was in the script, and I really wanted to see it, but I couldn't because of the accident.
Shut up! You're gonna give it away! Anyway, I was real busy.
Yeah, way too busy to have the chance to kill Mr. Roos.
Well, that's certainly different. Hey, how's that for a flawless testimony and alibi? Oh, magic is real. It's not a trick or a gimmick.
Oh my, she's floating!
Your Honor.
You can see she's being held up from below. You were supposed to pretend you didn't see that. It's a little something called etiquette. But I can't help it. Whenever I see a contradiction or inconsistency, I just have to point it out.
Now then, the defense may begin this cross-examination.
It's true. I had business here in the stage passage because of the upcoming trick.
If you were in the Understage passage, which, need I remind you, was the crime scene, then you most certainly should be counted as a potential suspect.
But I don't have any motive to kill Mr. DeRoos. Mr. Roos.
But you, by your own admission, hate Miss Wright. When she was arrested as a suspect, you said it was what she deserved. So you believe the witness killed a man simply due to her dislike of Trucy Wright? As a motive, is that not improbable at best? But what if her hatred caused her to bear a strong sense of malice against my client?
Look, Trucy just made me mad, that's all. I mean, even though she's younger than me, she's got so much skill and popularity. And she's cute besides. She makes me so mad I wish she would drop dead.
Betty, don't talk like that.
Shut your yap.
So, was it just simple jealousy?
Say,
Betty, that next trick you were getting ready for, it was the fire trick, right? The one Mr. Roos was supposed to do? Bonny, we're trying to get Betty sensible right now, so... Oh, right. I'm sorry. You can step down if you'd like. I'm worried about Betty, though. She can lose her temper and say awful things sometimes.
Oi, what are you, my mother? Don't forget, I'm the oldest sister. You got that?
Me? Yeah, I got it. I guess I'd worry about Betty constantly blowing her top if I were Bonny, too. So, Betty, you were down Understage getting ready for the fire trick, were you?
That's right. It's a very dangerous trick, so I had to make sure we were prepared for it.
And you were taking every necessary precaution, is that right?
Of course, every precaution. After all, it's a very dangerous trick that uses real fire. I mean, we had to be ready in case the curtain caught on fire or something, right?
By the time people realized it wasn't a plot of the act, it might be too late, eh? By people, you mean Athena Sykes, then yeah.
Wow, a fire trick. That sounds really impressive.
Key, your beer will go up in smoke, old man. I bet people will mistake you for a cue ball or something without it.
A cue ball?
Betty, don't be rude to the judge.
Key.
Betty, you know that fire trick? It was in the script, and I really wanted to see it, but I couldn't because of the accident. I see the fire trick was a part of the script. Seems Mr. Roos was scheduled to perform it later in the show. Did you not get to see him practice it beforehand? No, during rehearsal he said he didn't feel well, so he couldn't breathe any fire from me. Wait, let me get this straight. He couldn't breathe fire because he wasn't feeling well?
Our magical prowess appears to be on the wane today. That's what he said.
So it's just a part of his usual the great Mr. Roos shtick.
It's really too bad I didn't get to see the trick because of the incident. Which was completely unexpected, of course.
Hey!
Alright, so... What she just said there, the fact that he didn't feel like doing any tricks, I think this is the final nail in the coffin for me. One, no one knows what Mr. Roos looks like, because he's always wearing a mask. Right? So, I'm thinking that he sent a decoy to be killed. The real Mr. Roos is the raiding Raja. What's his name? I forgot his name. Ratins, right? Something Ratins? Yeah. The producer guy, that's the real Mr. Roos. And this is his way of getting revenge on the Troop Garmery.
Shut up! You're gonna give it away! Anyway, I was real busy.
So what exactly do you mean by you're gonna give it away?
Say, Bonny, you any big mouth? Now, Lobster Boy wants to know what we're talking about.
Hey, I'm sorry.
Yes, well, if you were preparing for the next magic trick, I'm sure you wouldn't have had the time to commit murder. Well, looks like the old geezer isn't senile just yet, eh? I bet you'll live a good long life. Ho ho ho! I plan to be sitting up here at least another 10 years.
10 more years? I don't know about that. What did we discuss about inner monologues, Athena?
Well, no power to you, I guess. In any case, I was so busy I didn't have the time to offer anybody.
Yeah, way too busy to have the chance to kill Mr. Roos. Are you just trying to cover for Betty? No, of course not. I believe in my sister. I know she'd never murder anyone. But you think my client would? No, I believe in Trucy too. I know she'd never murder anyone either. Well, we just ran out of suspect in that case. Yeah, but...
See, you should have just kept your mouth shut, dummy. You're just making a fool of yourself. Just be nice and quiet like a good little bunny, got it?
Alright, I guess I'm no help.
Oh boy. It's impossible to get anything out of Bonny with Betty right there.
So, Betty was too busy getting ready for the next trick to have time for murder, huh? There must be some way to prove that that wasn't the case.
Objection!
I hate to break this to you, Betty, but there's a big flaw in your testimony. As big as the one in that floating trick you did earlier.
Oh, that's right. Well, let me tell you something, forehead boy. No one has ever figured out how we do our teleportation trick.
No one except me, you mean?
Well, we have even better tricks up our sleeves.
Eh? We do?
I told you to keep it zipped. No, don't fight you two. Mr. Justice, what's this about a flaw in the testimony?
The script has this to say about the fire trick. This will be dangerous. Make sure the fire bucket is ready. However, we found the fire bucket lying empty backstage except for a layer of dust. You didn't even attempt to get ready for the next trick, did you, Betty?
You got me! But hit the fan! You will explain yourself! There's nothing to explain.
Come on, Betty, we can't hide it any longer. We might as well tell him.
Shut up! You can really take care of yourself. Don't try to tell me what to do.
Well, if neither of you will explain, I guess I'll have to. reason Betty didn't prepare for the fire trick is because she... You didn't prepare for the fire trick because you knew, didn't you? You knew that the body would be found and the show would be cancelled.
Don't be ridiculous, you insignificant speck of a man. I'm gonna yank those lame bangs off of yours off. Is that what you want, eh?
Objection!
Whatever, they can grow back. Now stop stalling and just tell us the truth already.
I can't reveal my secrets. I'm a magician.
Objection!
You have been chasing the shadow of an illusory culprit, Defense. And having chanced upon a convenient target, you have let yourself get carried away.
Exactly. Where's your proof, eh?
And yet, I can see that the witness's taste for false words has also been proven. I advise you to confine your deceitful trickery to your magic act, witness.
Deceitful trickery.
As your court-appointed therapist, I'd like to add something here, Betty. You finally let yourself be who you really are. But if you continue to hide behind lies, you'll just be imprisoning your heart all over again.
And all these questions mean you're trying to put me in prison for real. So I'll be behind bars either way.
Does that mean you're admitting your guilt?
Of course not. I can't believe you people. Every one of you thinks I did something I didn't do. You... Lobster Boy, Keyboard Geezer, Egg Case Brat, Cerberus Monk.
Cue ball? Geezer?
Head Case Brat? Really? Betty, calm down. Come on now, deep breaths. Deep breaths. Look, I'm not the murderer, I tell you.
Then how did you know the show would be called off before the fire trick?
I told you, we can't reveal our secrets. We're under contract.
Contract? What is she talking about? Be that as it may, you're obviously a suspect in this case.
I'm beginning to see the comic threads that make up the intricate tapestry that is this case.
Huh?
Allow me to summarize your assertions, Defense. First, that the victim was killed in the Understage passage. And second, that the witness and the accuser are the only two who could have done it.
Exactly. What's more, Betty knew that the body would be found, and that the magic show would then be called off. Therefore, it's reasonable to conclude that Betty killed the victim Understage.
But what if Betty knew that the show would be called off for some other reason?
Like what?
In the course of my investigation, I found it strange that the dragon set piece fell when it did. That, in conjunction with the body tumbling from the coffin in such a dramatic fashion, all seemed too perfect for mere happenstance. It was as though the entire chain of events had been planned out in advance.
Planned out?
After deciding to take this case, I scrupulously studied everything I could about the mass media in this country. I read the newspaper, old news reports, I even browsed tabloid magazines.
How very industrious of you. I'm impressed.
During this process, I learned about strange practice favored by the TV world. A practice called the hidden camera prank. Betty and Bonny, you knew about this, did you not? About the dead body appearing, the set piece falling, the show being suspended? You two were informed of this plan by Take-Two TV in advance, correct?
Is this true?
Betty, please, let's send him now. I can't hold it in anymore.
it, fine, you guys. Everything the prosecutor said is true. A TV station paid us to cooperate with them on this plan. It was all a prank, a big setup planned out in advance. Mr. Roos showing up dead in the coffin. The set piece falling down. It was all completely scripted.
It was all a prank? Bonny, is this really true?
Yeah, Mr. Roos was supposed to pretend to be dead. That's how it was supposed to go.
So he was in on it too?
That's right, he was supposed to show up dead in the coffin. And then the set piece would fall down. Trucy would be shocked and start to panic. That's how the prank script went.
What? What the heck kind of prank is that?
But we never thought you'd actually wind up dead. Yeah, that was the only thing that was different from the script. Poor Mr. Roos.
I'm so completely lost right now. Well, Buddy and Bonny, certainly sounds like you have something explaining to do.
Alright. I guess desperate times call for desperate measures. Just this once, we'll share how it was done with you.
Alright. I'll be back. Alright then. So, looks like my theory is starting to make more and more sense. So, Mr. Roos, aka Man of Mystery, is actually Roger Rayton's. He sets up this prank and basically makes the stage magicians like unknowing accomplices in his scheme. He tells them that, you know, a body's gonna fall out, but don't worry, it's just part of the prank. It's all scripted, so they wouldn't suspect anything. Yeah.
So listen carefully. You'll never read this kind of thing anywhere else. After our teleportation trick, I went down Understage. When Mr. Roos's body appeared from the coffin on stage, it was time for Betty to do her job in the Understage passage. That's right, I used the remote control for the winch connected to the dragon set piece. And made it fall down. And just before the dragon fell, I called Trucy to the backstage so she wouldn't get hurt. After that, the plan was for Mr. Roos to come back to life in front of a panicked Trucy. He was supposed to laugh and fly up and away. That was how it was scripted anyway. But for some reason, he really did turn up dead, so he can't just stay on the ground.
What kind of sick joke is that?
Sounds like a terribly mean-spirited prank to me. The poor defendant was trying to do her magic show.
I guess so. I'm sorry, Trucy.
Huh, whatever. It was all the ratings Roger's anyway. It was all the ratings Roger's idea anyway.
Yeah, sounds like this is the kind of thing a guy like him would come up with. This is the prank plan script we got from the... This is prank plan script we got from Ratings Roger.
Dang it! You made us break our contract! Now we won't get paid!
Mr. Roos's body will appear from the supposedly empty coffin, which should cause a big ruckus. After capturing a bit of Trucy's reaction on film, Mr. Roos will come back to life, laughing and flying up into the air, causing another round of surprise. Yeah.
But where does this all leave us? Who killed the victim, and when?
Yes, exactly. Those are the key questions. If Mr. Roos was only pretending to be dead in the coffin as a part of the prank, then when he was Understage, there would still be life within him. And if that is the case,
And Betty, who is also Understage, may be excluded from our list of suspects. Witness, was the victim alive up until he entered the coffin? Oh, well, now that we've spilled the beans, we might as well show you this video. Video? Greetings, viewers! It is I, the great Mr. Roos. We are currently in the middle of Trucy's escape trick. Having snuck through the Understage process undetected, I am now hiding backstage, preparing to play a little prank on Trucy. I'm about to hide in the coffin, where Trucy will stab with her rubber sword. And when the coffin opens, ho-ho, I will be in it, acting as though I met my maker. Can you imagine the look on Trucy's face then? Ho-ho, I can hardly wait. He's about to hide in the coffin? It would seem the threats of karmic destiny have led us to the truth. The victim passed through the understage where Betty DeFarm was, and came up into the backstage area. We know this because Mr. Roos appeared to be backstage when he shot the video we saw. It appears that way, yes. At defense, you proposed the following, did you not? What if the victim was killed under the stage before being put into the coffin? But then, what about this video? This footage was taken just before Mr. Roos entered the coffin.
Oh, so does that mean...
Yes, it is horrible, but true. The tragedy did indeed play out right there on the stage. Went into the coffin where Mr. Roos was hiding. Trucy Wright thrust her blade. Hey, see? Told you so.
So, are you saying the incident was a tragic accident that happened during a prank?
It would be an accident if the accused had no knowledge of the prank beforehand. So let us ask the accused herself. Miss Wright, did you have prior knowledge of the prank?
What?
Tell him, Trucy. You didn't know anything about it, right?
Of course I didn't. I didn't know a single thing about it.
Objection!
Still think you can play innocent, do you? In that case, you will leave me little choice but to present this piece of evidence.
It looks like some sort of note?
I found this note in their dressing room after the incident. At the time, I did not understand what it meant, but all is clear to me now. What's this?
Let's see. It says, get the video camera after Mr. Roos comes tumbling out.
It is a note signed by the accused, instructing Bonny to collect Mr. Roos's video camera from him, it seems.
I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense.
I found it in the dressing room before the show. When I saw it, I realized that Trucy knew about the prank. It does bear his signature, I'll give you that much.
So, the defendant had prior knowledge of the prank?
It appears so, yes. When she learned about the plan to trick her, she decided to use it to her own advantage. So, she thrust the steel sword into the coffin where the victim stood chuckling to himself. Is that not what happened, Miss Wright?
Of course not. And I didn't write or sign that note.
Ah, but the handwriting matches yours. All of the evidence and testimony points to you being the culprit.
But I didn't do it. It wasn't me.
Then explain the existence of this note. You can do that, can you not?
I can't explain it. I didn't write it, so I don't understand. I didn't kill Mr. Roos. You have to believe me.
Why would she sign the fucking note?
Boo! The silence is deafening. Continue struggling against the threads of your own karma if you wish, accused. Even as you are inescapably caught in the web of fate you have spun for yourself. Miss Wright, it is time to resign yourself to your fate. No, I didn't do it.
Yeah, I knew it.
That sweet-looking girl, a murderer? She took all of us in that act of hers.
I told you, I knew she was a homicidal little witch from the start.
But I didn't do it. I really didn't. Why doesn't anybody believe me?
Shut up, you killer.
Won't fall that anymore.
This is bad. Your Honor, I suggest we put an end to this tragedy now. Give your official ruling and let us offer the victim's soul the last rites it deserves.
Very well. I suppose I have no other choice. This court hereby finds the defendant, Trucy Wright.
Objection!
The defense has an objection.
Apollo! You! Even now, you would... I won't give up, and I refuse to let either of them down. Mr. Wright, who's counting on me, and Trucy, who's put all of her faith in me.
Mr. Justice, the fact that you have raised an objection means that you have evidence with which to refute the prosecution's claims, correct?
Yes, of course, Your Honor. Do we really have anything, Apollo? Actually, we do. There's one piece of evidence we can present here.
Very well, Mr. Justice. You may proceed.
As we saw in the show footage, there's no question that the defendant thrust the sword into the coffin. The defense doesn't dispute this point. But let us not forget that this was a magic show filled with tricks and illusions. We can't take everything we see at face value.
So you're saying some sleight of hand was somehow involved?
Yes, the defense contends that the sword the defendant used was not the cause of death. Now, what was it Trucy told me just before that she thrust the sword into the coffin?
Very well. Let us see your evidence then, Mr. Justice. But remember, you interrupted my verdict to make this claim. You will be severely penalized if I find you are bluffing.
That's fine, Your Honor. This shows that it's possible the sword Miss Wright used was not the cause of death.
Take that!
Was this a sword from the show?
That's right, Your Honor. This rubber sword was in the sword stand Understage. During the trick, Miss Wright was supposed to swap the real sword for a rubber sword, and she told us on record that she remembers very clearly that she did.
I see. So the sword that had been thrust into the coffin was a rubber sword, was it? But then why was a steel sword found lying on the stage?
Somebody must have put the steel sword there by swapping it with the rubber one. Just after the incident occurred, the dragon set piece fell, and the theater was evacuated. The real culprit must have used the resulting chaos to swap the rubber sword for the steel one.
Objection!
Do not know when to give up, Stinkbug. That is not possible. Blood was found in the coffin hole that the sword was thrust into. It must have been left there when the accused withdrew the sword. This is incontrovertible proof that the sword she used was the steel one.
Objection!
But that blood could be the result of someone tampering with the crime scene after the fact. After the set piece fell and the audience was cleared out of the theater, there was plenty of time for somebody to plant that blood there. If the sword the accused used was a rubber one, then when exactly do you propose the victim was killed, given that Mr. Roos was alive when he entered the coffin?
Objection!
Finding the answer to that question is precisely why we need to continue this trial. It was when the dragon fell.
Let me express my opinion. By all accounts, it is certainly reasonable to suspect the defendant based on the evidence, but as to the question of whether the sword the defendant used was rubber or steel, I believe further discussion is warranted. I suggest we hear from the defendant herself on this issue.
Very well, Your Honor. Yes, I saved it! Somehow. Too close for comfort, but still.
Let's adjourn for a brief 15-minute recess. I advise the prosecution and the defense use this time to prepare.